Welcome back, everybody. Today I want to talk about SpaceX. I think SpaceX is one of the hottest stocks on the stock market, and I think it has the most potential for the long term. And so I want to go over everything about SpaceX today. So let's quickly start off with the most recent news. Their Q2 earnings came out and the revenue jumped 92% year over year to almost $8 billion. A lot of their revenue, more specifically 4.3 billion of that revenue, was directly via Starlink. But Starlink's not the only thing they got. They're trying to get into the telecommunications platform, Starlink Direct-to-Cell and mobile. And we know that Starlink has been getting launched at an incredibly fast pace as they have hit their 50th dedicated Starlink mission back in May 30th. But we know that there's a lot more to SpaceX, and then we get to our Starship, and this pretty much breaks it down. You get Starship, which will then turn dramatically cheaper launches into dramatically more satellites, into a bigger Starlink, which is more revenue, and then more capital for AI space infrastructure. So it's a whole network of things that Elon is working on. We obviously know the AI pivot. We know that SpaceX bought out X, Grok, so we know that they have that AI capacity and they're working with that as well. Something to look at is Musk is expecting to spend $16 billion of investment in AI infrastructure. We can look at Starlink Mobile, also the same thing with the telecommunications. This is another market that could be big, not big yet. Share price today is currently trading at around 140 a share, and it is extremely overpriced, but the potential for this stock is what people are in for. Markets are open. SpaceX is trading at $142 today. So we can see once we IPO'd, the stock shot up, and then we've had a slow fall down. And so strictly looking at SpaceX chart here, clearly it's a new chart. We don't have many patterns to see what's developing. If we look here at volume, we have a lot more buyers than sellers. I think long-term people are expecting this to go further. We've seen companies get inflated all the time in the stock market, so this isn't something new. So you shouldn't be surprised if valuations start to go even more insane. But I do want to mention with IPOs, you have to be a little bit careful, because once a stock IPOs, a lot more issues will start to arise. Meaning before the IPO, you're going to hear all the good stuff about SpaceX. You're going to hear all the positives. You're going to hear everything that they're going to do for the future and how it's going to help humanity and how it's going to make so much money. But the moment the stock IPOs, what ends up happening is hedge funds, pension plans, they all want to enter into a big giant like this, because Elon Musk has proven, he has shown that he's been able to scale a big company, and now he's here with SpaceX that shows an even bigger opportunity. So what happens is hedge funds, pension plans don't want to buy this stock at the high. More negative news will start to come out upon IPO. You'll start to see more things like the other divisions aren't making as much money. They're not making enough money to even sustain themselves for X amount of years. And so you're going to start getting a lot of negative narratives, all to bring the price down. So big money can hedge their portfolios. They can make what they need to do for their clients. And so us as small traders, what we're looking at is just patterns. We have to try to find any sort of patterns that will help us make that next trade. And so currently we don't have much going for our charts, but what I do want to show you guys is Uber. And so I want to redirect you guys to the chart of Uber. And I know Uber and SpaceX are completely different companies, but I like to visualize patterns, and I think pattern recognition is one of the most important things as a trader. And so when we look at when Uber IPO'd, it had an initial run up, and then it did drop, and then it did another fake out, and then it dropped again. But then eventually, if you fast forward to where we are well above our IPO price. And so I'm not saying that SpaceX is going to trade like Uber. I'm not saying that this is going to go to the moon. What I'm saying is this is a great opportunity for a very monumental and transformational company in the stock market. We haven't seen anything to this capacity ever. And I think the way that it's being set up with Starlink as the workhorse for their revenue, I think there's a lot to be looked at, and we can even get more creative with SpaceX. When you look at a world that depends on minerals and it depends on resources that we have, if Elon feels as though that the planet Earth is depleted of resources, or we're having wars for minerals that we can't sustain our economies with, Elon might just go to another planet, secure minerals, secure resources, bring them back. Whether it's oil and gas, whether it's rare minerals, whether it's gold, whether it's silver, we clearly have now a launch pad to potentially secure minerals from other planets. And so if Elon decides one day that his mission is, you know what, we're gonna go to this planet, we're gonna secure all these minerals, we're gonna bring back these minerals, and now we can sell these minerals because these are depleted on our planet, and maybe our planet doesn't even have some of these minerals. And so when I look at this business model and I look at where this thing could go, where you could have leisure trips to Mars, your average person could pay a bunch of money, they'll get you to Mars, you can have a nice little staycation on a different planet. Anytime you have a company that pushes innovation, you're always gonna get a lot more out of a business for a global landscape. And I think with Elon, he's already proven to the world that he's able to do this. As he grows and as his businesses grow, I think there's a lot more things that are gonna come up where people are going to start to be like, this might just be the greatest investment of all time. It's too early to say something that bold, but the potential that can be, given that the revenues have been going up, Starlink continues to be launched at an extremely fast pace. I think the sky's the limit for SpaceX, which is not true because they're beyond the sky's limit. So I think this is a great company, great leadership, great opportunity, great time to be entering the market. Valuation wise, don't be hung up so much on valuation and numbers. I think that is always just fluff. In the longer term, in the grand scheme, this is something that should help stabilize a lot of portfolios, a lot of hedge funds. A lot of investment firms will be looking to buy SpaceX at cheaper prices for their clients. And so if you're an investor in SpaceX, let me know how you guys also feel about it. I'm currently not in SpaceX yet, but I love watching IPOs. I love watching the news come out on new companies because it adds that extra excitement for the stock market. And so I appreciate you guys. If there's another stock or a company you guys want me to talk about, let me know in the comments. And you guys know the routine. I'll see you guys in the next video.